All right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 2, Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. We got a little bit of a late start tonight, but that's okay. We are here and we're ready to go at it. Because the cars is out on the racetrack and they are going to be under green here, Russ. And I apologize, Russ, for the late start, but we are here nonetheless, and we're going to have an exciting round number 2 with us here tonight as these drivers try to tackle Kentucky here under the lights.
A bit of a rush to get things going here, but good to be back. And yeah, we're here round 2, the Racers Elite playoffs for these next gen guys here at Kentucky. We're going 105 laps here, and we're running this kind of a transition from early evening into the night. So track conditions are going to be pretty favorable for these guys tonight, I believe.
Yes, track position should be favorable for these drivers here tonight. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure what's going on, but my SDK, Russ, is only pulling 17 cars.
Yeah, that's all we got here tonight, bud. It was 17 cars. I mean, it's a little bit of a bigger field than what we usually have for these guys. So a couple extra guys showed up here to play a little bit tonight, which is very good to see.
Okay, they're just caught up. Okay, it caught up. My bad, because for whatever reason, it was it had Trevor at the top. So I think we got all the bugs worked out. We should be live on YouTube on Racers Elite Network.
Yep.
So now we just get to talk about racing. And last night, Russ, we had an absolutely amazing finish to Daytona to start the playoffs. Kentucky is going to be a little bit more tamer, right? But then we get a couple wild cards headed into the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we got a couple of those there, 2.5, 2 mile tracks, completely different from each other. You know, we're going to round this thing out at Pocono for the championship. And I think next week we go to Michigan or Auto Club, one of them 2 mile tracks. So two different track styles to round this thing out, and it's going to be a heck of a good time.
Yeah, in fact, it is going to be Auto Club that we'll be visiting, and then we're going to end up Pocono, I believe. And so the next couple of weeks is going to be absolutely insane for these drivers. I will say, though, and Russ, tell me if I'm wrong, but did I not read a message that said Andrew Teft is looking to sweep the week?
Yeah, I mean, he's so far he's 2 for 2 here this week so far. So he gets it done here tonight. He's going to sweep the week between the trucks and the Xfinity, and then tonight here in the Cup. So see if he can get it done right now. I mean, he's currently P6 on the track, and we'll see if he can get it done. He's very good at these 1.5 mile cookie cutter type of tracks. So I definitely wouldn't put it past him. He was going to be my pick here tonight anyway, just because I know how he runs on these types of tracks. So we'll see if he can get it done here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew's just one of those guys that you just know can get it done. And so, yeah, let's run through the leaderboard real quick, Russ. I've actually got it sharing for you over in Discord. So if it starts to get choppy, I'll shut it off, but we're right now seems pretty good. So right now, Kinsley Smith is atop the leaderboard. We got Christopher Bendell right behind him. Truth Hoke, I tell you what, man, I just enjoy watching Truth run. Just so quiet, smooth, consistent, always has a good solid run. James McCrae, Dennis Kane, Andrew Teft, Ira Kohlhaas, and that 81 right there in the 7th position, and then Curtis Ecker will be 8th.
Troy Thomas currently running in 9th back there in that number 3 car. Then Jesse Fox is going to be in 10th right now. Aaron Marquis going to look him to the inside of Jesse, trying to get that 10th spot out of him, and it looks like he's going to get that done.
Yeah, and then you got Kirby Wayne Scott, Alex Teff, Hayden Malcolm, Alex Gate, Trevor Fettig, and Mike Fudge. I'm going to tell you real quick, though, what a beautiful looking paint scheme on the side of that 3 machine, huh? That 3 machine with that Mountain Dew looks really, really good right there.
Well, I tell you, anytime, I was going to say, I always enjoy Troy's paint schemes, especially this season, since he's transitioning from that traditional, red and black and white of Dale Earnhardt to the black and that green. I mean, you remember, racing with me in SSR, and I had that black and lime green paint scheme. And man, ever since Troy's gone to that kind of a paint scheme, I've been really digging his schemes.
Dude, he always brings good looking race cars out. Yeah, another driver that brings really good looking race cars out is Kendall Smith. He brings some really good looking cars for that number 15 as well.
Yeah, Kinsley's got his own paint shop, so he's always working on paint schemes. Always looking good out there.
So Russ, I know you told me that you have the points, right? You have all the updated current information on the points. So let's go through that, because after last week and that wild finish that we seen, that was, I tell you, for our first race together, we couldn't have asked for a better finish than what we had right here in Racers Elite. But that set the tone for the playoffs. So let's run through that, and let's update the fans at home where we are with the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we got a heck of a points battle right now, at least amongst the top 7 or 8 drivers. I mean, Andrew, is currently sitting on top. He's got a 2-point lead over Chris Pendell. Then Troy Thomas is sitting third, 4 points out of that lead. Alex Gase and James McRae actually tied right now, 7 points out of first. Curtis Ecker and Truth Hoke currently tied for 6th and 7th, 9 points out. So we've only got 9-point difference between first and 7th right now. And then, and then it's Jesse Fox, Dennis Kane, Kirby Wainscott, Trevor, and then Aaron's going to round out the field of these playoff drivers. But a really tight battle amongst the top 7 drivers right now.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically a point per position except for the winner, right? The winner does get a bonus, I do believe. And so every position on the racetrack matters, does it not?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is kind of, falling into lines of real life NASCAR. It's a point a spot. The winner, I think, gets 3 bonus points. So, it's every position matters. And it's definitely going to be, evident in these next 2 races where they're kind of like those drafting style tracks where it's kind of difficult to pass. So, I mean, when we get next week to Auto Club and then the season finale at Pocono, man, positions are going to be prime. The restarts, getting those positions off the restarts is going to be prime for every single one of these drivers trying to make up as many spots as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, that's what's actually going to make this season, or at least the playoffs, a lot of fun to see how these battles rage out. Right now, though, Russ, we have a battle for the lead. Christopher Pendell has really started to put a lot of pressure on the back of that 15 of Smith.
They're on the outside right now. Chris Pendell, the winningest driver so far this season in the Next Gen Series. I believe he's got himself 3 wins here so far. Which is, a prime example as to why he's battling for this championship. 2 points out of the lead from Andrew, but he's shown a lot of speed all season long, got them wins, and he's up here battling Kensley for the lead right here, coming off of 4.
Yeah, right now, if you're the drivers behind this battle, this goes to show you that the outside middle lane does have speed. Christopher Pendell's been able to hold that out there just on the outside, and look at this run he's going to get here through the center of 1 and 2, Russ. Now, he's actually looks like he might have got a little bit tight there, and that's going to allow Smith to pull back even, headed down the back straightaway.
That's going to be one of the things is, that middle to outside line. It is going to be a viable option if you can get it done quick, but you don't want to be trapped out there too long because, I mean, this Kentucky Speedway absolutely chews tires apart. And if you're not down there on the bottom, you're up there in that middle, your tires are going to chew up quicker than if you were able to be on the bottom tire saving. So Chris needs to either make this pass really quick or just tuck back in line behind Kensley, or he's going to be in trouble as far as it comes to tires.
Yeah, I've been sitting here. I've been watching the lap times between 1st through 7th, right? And right now, Koha sitting back there in 7th has actually got within about 2 seconds of this group. It was about 2.5 for him. So with these guys racing side by side, this should allow Truth Hope, James McRae, Dennis Kane, Andrew Teff. This should allow this group to really start closing in. As you can see, Teff making a battle or making a pass on Kane right there. Kohaas looking to follow him and see if he'll take a peek to the inside here. In fact, Ira's going to move to the outside here. So what a move by Ira in the 81 to jump to the outside to see if he can carry momentum.
Yeah, trying to jump up there, see if he can get some kind of a momentum. This is one of those tracks where, you kind of want that fresh air on the nose, help you get around here a little bit better. But like I said, if he's going to try to get this pass done, he needs to make it quick or just tuck back to the bottom. It looks like he's going right back to the bottom now because he realized he couldn't get that done.
Yeah, so right now there hasn't been a change out front. Christopher Bendell's been able to move himself out into the top position. But again, much like I said, Russ, you got the 55 and the 27. They're right there. They can see the leaders. They're just a few tenths off by about, I'm going to say, let's call it 6 tenths, is Truth Hope, to the leader. And right now that could allow what could be 4 cars to be battling for the lead here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the benefits to the side-by-side racing is, especially for the leaders, it allows the guys there in 3rd and 4th, as long as they're, not battling themselves, it allows them to catch right back up to you. So, I mean, and I know Truth very well and how he runs, and, it's no surprise to see him close here to the front, trying to work his way up towards these top 2. I mean, this is one of those tracks where I've seen Truth really come into his own. So, see if he's able to get this thing done here tonight and move himself up the point series leaderboard.
Yeah, right now, comfortably riding in the 3rd position is Truth Hope. But let's talk about that 27, right? That 27 seems to have a bad fast ride about every single weekend. And right now, he's showing that speed riding 4th as it stands.
Yeah, I mean, James came on. I mean, he came back here to run this league this season. Showed a lot of speed at the beginning, was, proved himself to be one of the more dominant drivers of the season. Kind of fallen off just a little bit, through the middle portion of the season, but still definitely showing a lot of speed each and every week. We could just, kind of avoid the little bit of mishaps that he keeps running into. I mean, he's definitely a contender for the championship, but I don't, or he would definitely be a contender for the championship. I mean, he's 7 points out right now, tied for 4th. So, I mean, he definitely needs as many spots as he can get, trying to get himself back up there to Andrew.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's he's one position in front of Andrew as it stands. But one guy we talked a lot about last week, we've yet to mention tonight, it's going to be that 8 car of Curtis Ecker. We know that he had a lot to do with what happened last week within that race and that finish. One of the stronger cars I believe we had, if I can remember correctly. Currently, right now, Ecker's going to ride around in the 8th spot, just in front of Wayne Scott and Troy Thomas.
I was talking to him a little bit earlier, and he wasn't really too comfortable here tonight. He said he was kind of fighting a little bit of a tight condition, and I was kind of telling him that you kind of get that here in Kentucky, but definitely had some speed all season long. Definitely one of the most improved drivers that I've seen coming into this season from last season. So definitely, I mean, the guy's definitely had a lot of really good runs, put himself into a really good position in points. And I think he's just having himself a real solid season.
Right now, just riding around right there in 8th position, but he has had a solid season. And I tell you, we progressively watch these drivers, Russ, week in, week out. We watch their progression and getting better. And he's been one of the notable mentions throughout the season that just keeps finding or trying to find ways to find momentum to be able to find speed on the racetrack. And he's been able to do that at least through a large portion of the season here in Racers Elite.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've talked to him, quite a bit, and he's been putting, trying to find more time to put more practice time in, and really try to figure this stuff out. And like I said, from where he was last year, he's definitely one of the most improved drivers out here this season.
So I'm going to go up here real quick. There was a couple other drivers I want to talk about. We'll get to those drivers, but right now the battle for 3rd is heated up because McRae's on the inside of Hoke, headed into turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, looking down there on the bottom, got a good run, trying to get this 3rd position from Truth. Truth holding strong there on the outside, though. Not going to give it up too easily. This might allow those leaders to get away.
This very well could allow some gap to be placed between the leaders. Right now, Pendle's been able to jump out about 2.5 tenths, give or take. Right now, Hoke's going to be able to carry the momentum off the corner. He's going to clear McRae, but what this has done, this has allowed Andrew Teft to catch the draft and potentially join this battle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just talking about a little earlier. You get that side by side. If you can't get those passes done quick, that allows them drivers to catch that draft and get right back up there to you. So Andrew Teft currently sitting in 5th, trying to take a look at 4th and even 3rd here.
So right now he can see them right there. They run side by side. This is going to be actually a really big benefit. The more that those drivers run side by side for Andrew Teft, because that's going to allow him to really be able to draw up to the back end of those cars. McRae only a couple points behind Teft, but only one position in front of him right now. And that may change here in the next handful of laps.
Yeah, and I know that's one of the things, Andrew even talked about last season, as he's coming in as the defending series champion. It was one thing he always paid attention to during the races was where he was in points versus where the guys on the track who were close to him in points were. So he always knew where he had to be to try to minimize the amount of points that somebody could really gain on him. So, I mean, Andrew Teft is not one to be taken lightly, especially when it comes to this these 4 races of a chase format, because he is really methodical in what he does.
He is very methodical, and I can tell you he does great when it comes to fuel mileage races as well. I've ran some races, Xfinity, some trucks with him, and I can tell you he's super talented behind the wheel of a race car, and he's actually closed into the back bumper of these guys. But I can tell you, he also does a really good job at saving tires, does Andrew Teft. I mean, he's always a contender. He finds his way towards the front about every single night. And right now, the battle for third is going to have 3 cars, not 2.
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, he's really good at saving tires, saving fuel. I mean, right now, from what I'm gathering, I'm figuring probably in the next 8 to 10 laps or so, we might start seeing some green flag pit stops out of these guys. I don't see these guys going much farther than about 40 laps on a set of tires with the way that this track chews them up. So, I mean, right now, Andrew, looking at this battle with James McRae and Truth Hoke, and you've also got these green flag pit stops coming up. As we see now, Kinsley Smith is peeling off and going down pit road right now as we speak.
So I'm going to grab Kinsley Smith, and right there he is. So the pit road tells us, Russ, it is open, right? So we know that these drivers are going to be making green flag stops. Now, once this cycles out, Kinsley might be able to jump Pendell here, and that's going to play dividend. But right now I want to keep a battle on these guys right here, and I actually want to see if Cole Haas back here in 5th with this 3-car battle is actually able to gain some track position and work himself into this battle and have a 4-car battle instead of a 3 for what now is going to be the 2nd position.
I see Ira back there. I mean, he's in a battle of his own right now. It looks like with Curtis Secker on the inside of him coming in here into turn 1. So try to see if Curtis can get around him, get it cleared. It looks like he's going to get it done. We'll see if either one of these guys is able to get up here and get into this battle.
So right now, Ecker's taken over the 5th position. You still have Truth Hoke running side by side with James McRae. Andrew Teft being patient, just riding right here. No reason to put yourself in an awkward spot to ultimately end your night and cost yourself some major points in this championship hunt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you definitely don't want to take yourself out of contention, with a race like this. This is a type of a track and type of a race where, a good, solid finishing night will bode you well in the points. So definitely just want to take it easy at this point here. We know, we got these pit stops. Looks like, Troy's coming down now along with Curtis Ecker. So a little bit of a differing strategy. We had Kinsley come down a couple laps ago, a little bit earlier than what I anticipated. I was figuring a 2-stop race, 40, 80, and then 25 laps to the finish, but maybe some of these guys are looking at three stops. I mean, unless they can stretch the fuel to make it to the end on 2 going, 30 and 60 and then going 45. So gonna have to see how these differing strategies play out as this night goes on.
Yeah, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news for the race fans at home. Hayden Malcolm has gotten a pit road penalty, as you can see him sitting down there in his pit box, and that's going to be rather unfortunate for him. But what's happened now is Pendell's hit pit road. That turns the lead over to McRae, Teft, Hoke, Cole Haas. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Alex Teft 5th. I want to get back here and talk a little bit about Jesse Fox, Alex Gates. Right here, these guys are. Those were names that we talked about quite often last week at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, Daytona being one of them tracks where, anybody's a prime, or has a prime chance of picking up a win. I mean, it's really good to see guys like Jesse Fox, who, we may not have the chance to talk about quite all the time, but good to see him up front and have that shot of battling for a race, or for a race win. I mean, Jesse's another one who I know has improved quite a bit this season here too. So now we're getting to see him come down pit road.
Yeah, so now he's going to be hitting pit road. Now, Andrew Teft, he's hit pit road. So has McRae. So has Hoke. You can see them, and that's going to be the race off pit road. This has actually turned the race lead over to Ira Kohlhaas. And I can tell you one thing about Ira, that there's probably out of the field, right, out of the 17 cars that we have, Ira's probably one of maybe 3 that does not shift this car. He does not shift. He hates it. He hates shifting. And I think that's a reason that allows him to run a little bit longer on fuel, save a little bit more tire. And if he could ultimately figure out a way to be a little faster on the long run, he would be a contender for race wins here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series.
Absolutely. I mean, I've known Ira just about as long as you have, and he's always said that to me too. He's like, it's always such a pain to try to shift each and every race. He goes, I'm just throwing it in 5th and sticking to it, and he really never kind of wavers from that unless he absolutely has to. But yeah, I mean, Ira always always pretty smooth, with the way that he drives, and yeah, good to see him up front here, and hopefully he continues to have good success here.
Yeah, he does, man. I tell you, we raced together last night, me and Ira did, and we was able to go 1-2 at Talladega, and the nostalgia behind that and the Gen 6 car, that was a lot of fun last night. So we'll just keep an eye on him and see when he comes down pit road. Now, running long here, Russ, here's my question. Right now, if a caution comes out, there's going to be a lot of cars trapped a lap down. However, him staying out on the racetrack, how much time is he giving up?
Oh, I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, we'd have to look at his lap times compared to the guys coming out on fresh tires. But, this is what I was anticipating, and we'll see him coming down pit road now. I mean, this is what I was anticipating as this race got started was, going about 40 to 45 laps, and then, for 2 sessions, and then having that short run there at the end. So we've got a lot of differing strategies. Early pits, coming lap, 30 to 35, had some right around lap 35. Now we've got guys coming in at post 40. So, definitely 2 stops for the post 40 guys. So, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how this thing plays out. It really will. See if those earlier guys are gonna have to come down a 3rd time, or if they can stretch it on 2.
You're right. I mean, with differing strategies like this, right? This allows an opportunity to. So I've always said, right, you can't win the race doing the same thing the leader's doing, right? If at some point in the race you're a 4th, 5th place car, you're not going to win the race by doing the same things they do, right? So changing up the strategy and going a different direction, running long here like Kohlhaas, Teft, Trevor Fettig did just now is not necessarily a bad deal. Not only that, but that's going to give those guys, let's say 8-ish or so better laps, better tires for longer runs. So not necessarily a bad call. Right now, Kohlhaas he's come out in 11th. Right, and Andrew Teft's right now 10th. Kohlhaas came out at 11th when he was running 5th, 6th area. So let's see if he's able to work himself back up through the field. As you can see, there's Alex Teft, who ran long 2 right there behind him. Let's see if he's able to work his way through the field before this next round of stops come, to see if he posts any net gain for running long.
And the one that I'm really interested in is the one that we're focused on right now here at Kirby Wainscott. I mean, you look behind him and you've got Kendall Smith, Chris Pendell, or Kensley Smith and Chris Pendell right there behind him. I mean, I don't think Kirby has been down pit road yet. So for him to go this long is kind of surprising, unless I'm wrong and he did come earlier. But I mean, those guys right there behind him, if he has to come down pit road right now, that's going to really hurt him in the long run.
Well, from my knowledge, and if it's correct in what I'm looking at, he was on pit road lap 31. So he come a
Okay, so
lap sooner than Kinsley Smith did.
Okay, so he kind of snuck on there without me seeing him then. All right.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it put him in a prime spot here. I mean, he's holding his own right now, about 0.8 of a second out there in front of Kinsley, but we'll have to see how long he's able to hold that off.
Well, right now, he is in a prime spot. You're absolutely correct, because Pendle's been able to put all kind of pressure all over the back end of that 15 car. And then right now, again, you got Hoke, McRae, Teff. They're all right there together. Here comes Ecker. Now, Ecker was able to get around Kohlhaas before that last green flag cycle we had, Russ. He was able to get around Kohlhaas, and he's actually closed the distance between him and what would have been Andrew Teft. That gap has shrunk. He's making really good lap time, and he's starting to find track position.
I mean, when he got by Kohlhaas there, I mean, there was a pretty good gap there between himself and Andrew Teft, and now he's closing right in. As we're going to see, Andrew looks like maybe going to try to take a peek. Not quite yet, but he was trying to take a peek there on James McRae. I said, if these two get side by side, that'll pull Curtis right into the whole mix, and we'll have another three-car battle for position.
We definitely would have a 3-car battle for position, and I tell you, that would be a lot of fun to watch, is watching those 3 cars get together and race. Right now, Wayne Scott, though, is still able to hold that Racers Elite number 10 out front by about a half second. You can see Smith, Pendle right here together, Hoke, McRae, Andrew Teft. He's actually lost a little bit of time there to the back end of that car, Ecker, and then there comes Dennis Kane, and then here comes Ira Kohlhaas, and he's actually, I tell you what, he just passed another one in Troy Thomas, so that'll move him up to 9th. Dennis Kane just shortly up in front of him. Kohlhaas might make a net gain out of this thing, Russ. We'll keep an eye on it and see.
Yeah, it just might. I mean, those pit road, they say that races can be won and lost on pit road, and this could be one of those situations. I mean, we'll have to see how that plays out, but I mean, it could work that way for any of these guys. I mean, this, Kirby Wainscott, that first car, if he was that first car down pit road, that could win him or lose him the race. I mean, we don't know. Now we've got Chris Pendle looking on the outside of Kinsley Smith. And these two are going to get racy for second, which might allow Wayne Scott to just take a little bit of a gap there.
Well, if you see this in your mirror, right, if I'm Kirby Wayne Scott, which actually Christopher Pendle's able to clear right there, but if you see that in the rearview mirror, the thing that you really hope for is that they race side by side for a handful of laps, and then you just you can ease up and not beat the tires up that much more. Give them an opportunity to cool down, and once those tires cool down, if they're able to run you down, then you have something to race with. But right now, he's holding it steady somewhere between 5.5 to 6/10 is Kirby Wainscott.
I agree with everything you just said. I mean, if I'm that leader, I see that move being made, I'm like, please battle it out for like 3-4 laps. Let me gain a little bit on this gap and be able to maintain. But I mean, right now Kirby's still holding strong, but Pendle there in the 94 starting to make just a little bit of ground on him.
He will make a little bit of ground, but then as soon as they hit the corner, that lead shoots right back up. So that tells me that Pendle's done one of two things. He's either backing the entries up and rotating the centers a little bit better than the 10 right now, or the 10's just overshooting the entries and the car's just not rotating and it's kind of got a tight feel to it. So we'll keep an eye on this battle. Now, a couple guys I wanted to get back here, Russ, and talk about is Aaron Marquis back here. We haven't been able to talk about him tonight. Let's talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's one of them other ones. I mean, he shows up here every week. Right now, I mean, he's the the bottom of the barrel, I guess, if you will, of this points battle right now. Currently sitting 12th, about 51 points out of the lead. So, I mean, it's going to be really hard for him to be able to make up the points to be able to make a run at this championship. But the guy, he's solid. He shows up every week. He's getting better and better every time he hits the track. And sooner or later, I mean, I've seen him get wins in other series, so I'm sure his time in the next gen will be coming soon enough.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I to touch on that, right? I absolutely hate driving this car, right? I've had this conversation with John Ross. I've had this conversation with Ira. I'll have this conversation with you, Russ. I hate driving this car. I just do. It doesn't fit my style. And I can tell you, I can be fast in a truck. I can be fast in Xfinity. I can be fast in Gen 6. You put me in one of these and I'll just step all over myself. I hate this thing.
It's kind of a love-hate relationship for a lot of guys here on the iRacing service. I mean, it's definitely not an easy car to get a feel for. I mean, I struggled with it. I mean, of course, I struggle with every car on the service, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But I mean, it's definitely something that you gotta really, I guess, really push yourself to get to know. I mean, in order to put yourself at the John Ross level of skill behind the wheel of one of these next gens, I mean, it takes a lot of time.
It does take time, and I tell you, I just never given this car enough time, and I think a lot of that problem is because of that love-hate relationship. I hate driving it, but it at the same time it is enjoyable, and so I think I just got to give it time. But I tell you, me not liking this car, I love calling races about this car. I can come up here with you and hang out, and we can have finishes like we had last week at Daytona. We see battles like we can see right here with Kohlhaas and Kane in the 4-car. The battles that these cars put on with these drivers, second to none. The racing's exceptional.
I've seen a lot of great races of this next gen car. I mean, like you said last week, I mean, we can't talk enough about that finish that we had last week. I mean, just absolute chaos. And then with the underdog, an underdog championship points upsetting winner coming in and picking up the win last week there, and Rob Yost, unfortunately not here tonight. I guess he's not feeling too well, but I mean, I've seen a lot of really great races with these cars. I mean, we've got one right here for the lead now is Christopher Bindell looking to the outside of Kirby Wainscott, looking to take over the lead here.
Yeah, and he will be able to do so. I don't think Wainscott's going to be able to keep his quarter panel. He's not. We do want to say, Rob, if you are watching, man, and you are feeling a little bit under the weather, we hope you get better soon, man. We want to see you back out on the racetrack after that big win you had last week. So looking forward to get you back here on Thursday night in Racers Elite Next Gen Series. I think we've talked just about, well, we've talked about Alex, we've talked about Jess. I think we've covered just about every single driver. We're 61 laps in. I know you said unofficially that Andrew Teff was going to be your pick. So we're going to go ahead and do it, Russ. I'm going to let you make your official pick. 61 laps down. Who gets it done in the next, say, 45, 50 laps?
I mean, it's kind of it really is hard to bet against Andrew. I mean, he's running kind of mid-pack here tonight. I know he mentioned earlier he wasn't too comfortable running here tonight, even though he did say he was going for that weak sweep. But I mean, it's still hard to tell. I mean, there's still, just under half of this race here left to go. I mean, we definitely got more pit stops coming. But I mean, right now, I mean, Christopher Bindell has shown a lot of speed all night. Kinsley Smith has shown a lot of speed all night. I mean, it's just really hard for me to make a pick. But I guess if I had to pick one, I would probably take Kinsley Smith. I think in the long run, he showed a lot of speed early on. I think he's going to make a little bit of a differing pit strategy call maybe towards the later end of this race, and maybe that'll help him get the job done here tonight.
It may very well just do that, and I'll make a pick for you here in just a minute. But right now, what's caught my eye is this 4-car battle for third. You've got Smith, McRae, Ecker, Hoke, all right here together. Teff just on the outside looking in seventh, but a 4-car battle for second, and right now third rages on.
James McRae looking underneath Kinsley Smith right there. You got Curtis Ecker, driving his way up there underneath Truth Hope, trying to work his way up inside the top 5. It looks like he's going to get that pass kind of made. Truth still kind of got a quarter on the bumper there. Not going to quite give it up quite as easily, but then now you've got Andrew Teff sneaking in into this mix here too.
And this is where Andrew starts to become dangerous, right? When the tires start to wear just a little bit. But I'm going to make my pick. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
I'm taking the 8. I've watched him throughout this race. I know we're 65 laps down, working lap 66. Long run speed, I think Ecker has it. He's raced his way up through the field. He's currently up 3 spots from his starting position. Now, that's not the biggest mover of the night, but I can tell you any net gain is positive, and he's all over the back bumper of Smith. And so my pick for tonight, for at least the remaining rest of this race, is going to be Curtis Ecker. Wayne Scott, though, something happened big here with Wayne Scott. Oh, he's coming to pit road.
Yeah, say if he was that first one to pit there on about lap 31, he's in his window now. I mean, he's gone actually a little bit further in this stint than he did that first one. So not too surprising to see him come down right now, I guess. And this might actually put him in a window to make it to the end. We've got about just under 40 laps to go, I believe. So it might put him in the window to make it to the end.
So we'll keep an eye on Kirby Wayne Scott, also Jesse Fox, and look here, Andrew Teft. That this is a strategy call. Andrew Teft's on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, he's made that stop down there. I mean, now we got Kinsley Smith coming down. I mean, we might see these guys start to come down here anytime now. I mean, we're definitely in that window. I mean, we know we've seen, 42, 43 laps out of the last guy that came down pit road. So definitely in that window now, sitting inside of 40 laps to go.
Ecker's coming to pit road as well. Christopher Pendell stays out. McRae stays out. Ecker, Smith, all on pit road. Now, here's the thing. We talked about this a little bit earlier, Russ, right? You don't win a race doing the same thing the leaders is doing. So with Andrew actually short pitting this stint, it makes me wonder. It just makes, we're gonna let it play out. We'll let it play out, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to see some different strategies all race long, and it's really hard to call which one's going to be the right one. So we'll have to see how that plays out here in about 35 laps.
I tell you, and that's what's fun about Kentucky. Kentucky seems to provide just enough tire wear with just enough fuel strategy to make this race interesting. And in fact, back in, I believe it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Russ, but it was, I think the last time that the NASCAR Cup Series ran Kentucky was 2019, and I was at that race where Kurt and Kyle Busch finished 1-2 in a photo finish nonetheless, and it was absolutely amazing, and it provided a great race there that night, just as it is tonight. But I think it provides just enough tire wear with just enough, fuel strategy that makes this race a lot of fun, or at least racing at Kentucky Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched quite a few of these races, in real life, and I mean, Kentucky definitely always put on, what I thought were really good races, kind of like what we're seeing here tonight. It's good to get that race to back on the schedule, but Kentucky has always been one of them ones that always provided really good races.
I always enjoyed going there. It was actually pretty close to home for me. So now I have to travel about 4.5 to 6 hours anywhere around me to find a racetrack to go to now. But Ira Kohlhaas has actually worked himself up into the 4th position. Now I'm gonna take a look at lap times here. The last time by, Ira Kohlhaas was the fastest guy on the racetrack that's not pitted. So
I mean, he was making headway at the end of that first run. Looks like he's making headway here again at the end of the second run.
Yeah, it might be the wrong side of the strategy. We'll see, right? I mean, I like what he's doing. Don't get me wrong. I love having fresher tires at the end, because then you just feel like a freaking king when you start passing cars, because their tires is wore out and you're just working your way through the field, right? You just feel dominant and just ready to go. And I like what he's done, because that feeling is a lot of fun. Pendell McRae's on pit road as well, though.
Yeah, them guys coming down. Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to have those fresher tires at the end of that run, because like you said, you feel like you're a lightning bolt out there. But sometimes that gap and that time is just really, really hard to make up, and sometimes it's just insurmountable if you don't get some kind of a lucky break along the way. So, I mean, it may be a little bit too little, too late, but we'll have to see how it plays, man.
We'll see how it plays out, but that will turn race lead over to Truth Hoke in that 55 machine. Ira second, Alex Teft, and there he comes. And now we know he ran a lap or so longer than Kohlhaas did, and in fact, he's been able to work himself up to the back bumper of the 81. Troy Thomas right there. There comes Aaron Marquis, Alex Gate, Trevor Fettig. That's going to be 1 through 7 right now. A couple of these guys has been on pit road. Alex Teft has been on pit road. Well, no, he was on lap 43. So, in fact, none of the top 7 Russ that I can see is hit pit road. So, those guys still gonna have to make a pit stop, but that means Kirby Wainscott, Kinsley Smith, Curtis Ecker, and here comes Curtis making a move on the outside of Kinsley. I'm going to tell you what, Russ, if Ecker gets this done, man, I'm going to be so excited.
I mean, I'll be right there with you. I mean, like I said, I'm sure by looking at it, he pulled some kind of a strategy call there on pit road, work his way up there. But, you know, Curtis, like I said, he's one of them guys. He's one of the most improved that I've seen come out of last season. And, you know, for him to be able to get this thing done here tonight, it'd be absolutely great to see.
So Kohlhaas and Hoke both on pit road. That's going to mean the top 5 is still yet going to have to make a stop. But once those cycle out, it should be, and I hope that I'm right, but if I'm wrong, I apologize to the fans at home. But once these green flag cycles shake out, that should turn race lead back over to Kirby Wainscott, Curtis Ecker, Kinsley Smith, Christopher Pendel, and Dennis Kane. That would be the top 4 or 5 cars right there. Now, again, provided we don't get a caution and the cycle plays out.
I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Curtis and Wayne Scott there of being at the top here, and I mean, I'm seeing Curtis starting to run down Wayne Scott. So, I mean, you've got a lap car there of Alex Gates. He might try to use it for a little bit of draft, get a little bit of a slingshot, but he's closing in for this lead here.
He is starting to close in for what we think will be the lead once this shakes out. Now, again, I'm not going to talk too much about this battle because I don't want to give them the broadcaster's curse, nor Wayne Scott, Ecker, Smith, or any of those guys. So right now, race lead is Alex Teft, though. So we'll see when he makes his stop. And we know he ran a couple laps longer than Kohlhaas last time. So he's going to stay out here again another lap, and that's going to put him at about 40, about 43, 44, 45 laps or so on his run now with 25 to go.
Yeah, I think that's about what we saw out of that last group of, you know, the last couple of guys that came down pit road on that first stint. And looks like he's going to get that done here again. We're 25 to go. And now it looks like Curtis Ecker has gotten around Kirby Wainscott for what we believe will be the lead of this race. As we're on 25 to go, coming to 24.
Curtis Ecker has got around Kirby Wainscott for what we feel like will be the race lead once the green flag cycles do shake out here, Russ. And I can tell you, I'm not 100% sure just exactly what happened to Christopher Pendel, but he lost a lot of time to these guys on pit road. When I look at pit road time, oh, here we go. Here's an interesting stat for you. Total pit time was a 50.5 second. That's down pit roads, tires, fuel, and the exit, right? For Curtis Ecker, that was 46.92. So 4.5 seconds difference on pit road. So something happened with Christopher Pendel on pit road that's allowed these guys to put some distance between them. Now we know Pendel, Russ, has been one of the faster cars throughout the night, but with 22 laps to go, does he have enough time to reel these guys in for what we feel like will be the race lead once these cycles play out?
I'm not really sure. You know, we'll have to see how that plays out. But I mean, you said, you know, his on and off time on pit road was, you know, total was what, about 50 seconds compared to Curtis's about 46. I'm wondering what some of the other guys were, you know, if other guys were around Curtis's time or if they were around Chris's time. Because I mean, if they were more around Christopher's time, that's going to tell me that those 4 seconds were spent taking 2 tires only on Curtis's car, which would be a very bold strategy call if that were the case.
If that was the case, that would in fact be a very bold call. Alex Teft still yet to come pit road. Now we know Andrew Teft was one of the first cars to come down pit road, and I can tell you it's just not worked out. He's back here in the 14th position with McRae, and I'm not sure what happened to McRae either. Oh, these guys might have gotten a pit road penalty because I'm showing total pit time for McRae, Teft, and Truth Hoke all at a minute 26 plus.
Just having to look at the leaderboard there, and I see they're actually all down 2 laps. So I was just going to say they must have had some kind of a speeding penalty or something on pit road to lose that extra lap. So I mean, right now we see the leader coming down pit road. We've got the 7-11 of FedEx still out there on the track. Once he comes down, it's going to turn this lead over to Curtis Ecker, but that's only going to put the top 8 as being on the lead lap. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and 13th, 14th are now going to be a lap down. So, I mean, those guys are still going to be a lap down. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely explains why.
Yeah, it does explain why. As you can see, there comes Trevor down pit road. This will turn over the race lead to Curtis Ecker. And I can tell you, there's just some nights where everything has to come together, right? Now, points, Russ. Points. You have McRae, Teft, Hoke, 13th, 14th, 15th on the racetrack right now. If you're in the playoff battle and you're in the top 5, top 6, you could gain a lot of points going into next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at the points here, and I mean, Curtis is, he's currently tied for 6th with Truth Hoke. Only 9 points out of the points lead. So, I mean, with Alex or Andrew Teft having a bad, we'll call it a bad night, where he's currently running 14th, that's gonna give old Curtis quite the jump in points.
I mean, if Curtis is able to hang on with 17 laps to go, and in fact, that lead has grown out to about 7.5 tenths. If Ecker is able to hold on here with what we've seen so far, and I know that we're putting a lot of emphasis on the points, and we have to because we're in playoff season. If Ecker holds on, and we don't get a caution, right, Russ? If we don't get a caution, McRae, Teft, Hoke back here 13th, 14th, 15th. This is going to shake up the entire points battle for the next 2 races when we had the Auto Club in Pocono.
Well, I mean, right now, I mean, with Christopher Pindell sitting in 4th, if he can finish there, I think he's going to leapfrog Andrew Teft, and I'm pretty sure he's going to become the new points leader. But I mean, Curtis, right now, I mean, we've got Troy Thomas, Alex Gates, and James McRae sitting between Pindell and Curtis Ecker in the points. And, I think everybody, I mean, Troy's kind of in the middle of the pack right now, but McRae, Teft, and Hoke, and whereas Alex Gates is sitting 10th, I mean, Curtis might leapfrog himself up to about a P2 in the points after this race if he could pull this thing off.
Yeah, so when we have 15 laps to go, that lead is growing for Curtis Ecker. It is out to almost a full second. We're going to call it 9 tenths right now. Wayne Scott Smith. Pindell's actually been able to run these guys down. Now, Pindell lost some time, and I think that's the difference that we're seeing right now, Russ. The difference between where Pindell is on the racetrack, and I can tell you, I know he's made up some time from the pit road stop. We know that. But that's the distance we're seeing with whatever that situation was on pit road for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely making it up. I mean, he's about 2.2 seconds behind Ecker right now. But, don't look now. But Alex Teft, one of those drivers, the one of the last two to come down pit road, he's going to have those freshest tires. He's going to start taking a look onto the 94 right now and trying to take over this P4 spot. Just don't know if he's going to have enough time to catch Ecker back up for this win, but he is coming, and he's coming fast.
He is on a rail right now, is the 43. You can see the 94 just smoked the outside wall. That's going to give position to Alex Teft in that 43. When one Teft doesn't seem to have a good night, the other one steps right up because here he comes. And in fact, Russ, that lead between him and race leader right now, Curtis Ecker, is going to be about 2 seconds with 11 laps to go. And I'll look and see the last time by was a 30-61 to a 30-90. So a 30-60 to a 30-90. He's 3/10 quicker. He's got to make quick work of those guys in front of him if he wants to challenge for a race win here at Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming to 10 to go. I mean, 3/10 a lap over the course of 10 laps, it's going to put it close to 3 seconds. So he's going to have a shot if he can get himself clear of some of these guys to work his way up to Curtis Ecker and try to pick this win up tonight.
He, in fact, has now got around Kinsley Smith. That lead now 1.6, call it 1.5. Alex Teft on the move. Wayne Scott just a mere half second in front of him. Right now, if you're Alex Teft, you got to be a little bit patient. Let's not burn them up too quick, but let's make sure that we have a shot to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think too, if you're Alex Teft, you're hoping for this thing to go green and to not get a caution, because I mean, if you get a caution, then he's going to come down. Everybody's going to come down and get fresh tires, and then you're going to have that even playing field. So right now on those fresher tires after that last round of green flag pit stops, I'm almost betting that Alex is just hoping that this thing stays green, because he can see that gap getting smaller and smaller to the leader.
That gap,
and he doesn't have to be screwed up.
That gap is getting smaller, Russ. It is down to about a near second. Here comes the battle for second position on the racetrack. Race lead just a mere second and a tenth out in front of Alex Teft. Alex Teft has now moved to second, 8 laps to go.
This thing stays green. I don't know if Kirby's gonna, or if Curtis is gonna be able to hold Alex off. I mean, he is on a rail right now, and he is trying to battle his way up to this lead here. About a second off pace right now.
I will look at the last lap times by. This ain't going to be a good lap to tell us because we know he was battling for position, but I will call it out anyway. The leader last lap by ran a 30.89. Alex Teft 30.76, about a tenth. Let's call it just call about a tenth and a half or so quicker. 8/10 to the leader. 7 laps to go, Russ.
And he's going to make a race out of this thing. I mean, now that he's got that clean air, he's gotten by all them guys. Now he's just tracking down Curtis Ecker. 7 laps to go. If he can go back to the pace that he was running a few laps ago, where he was about 0.3 of a second quicker, he should be able to make quick work of Curtis Ecker. But if it just stays at about a tenth to a tenth and a half, we could have a battle here as we're coming to the flag.
Yeah, that lead has shrunk at least this time by. He's going to make up about a tenth. So right now that shows us that he is about a tenth quicker. It's going to be 7/10 heading into turn 3. We're coming to 5 laps to go, Russ. This could get interesting for a second race for me and you. We had that wild finish at Daytona. We could be in store for another one here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got the 8 and the 43 in the exact same frame now. I mean, he's closing that gap in about 6.5 tenths, slowly gaining in. Five laps to go. He's got to try to get there.
He's going to have to try to get there. That lead he can see right in front of him. Can Alex Teft. He can see race leader Curtis Ecker. We'll take a look at the last lap speeds once these guys come to take 4 to go, Russ. And right now, I can tell you, based off of what our telemetry, at least my telemetry is showing me, a 30.96 to a 30.91 is only about a half of a tenth quicker was Alex Teft that time. If these lap times mellow out, Curtis Ecker might be able to hold on, but what a charge for Alex Teft.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if maybe if the 43's tires have kind of equalized as he was, trying to push hard to get back up here to the front, those tires might have equalized. And if they did that, then the 8's going to be holding on for dear life here with 3 to go, hoping to pick up this win.
With 3 laps to go, the lead has mellowed out. It is staying steady between 6.5 to 7/10 right now. 3 laps to go. We're going to be coming to 2 to go. Ira Kohlhaas, one of those drivers that's run a little long, currently riding 6. So it worked for Teft, a net gain for Ira. And I can tell you, we have some point battles going on that's back here, say, McRae, Teft, Hoke, just not the nights they wanted. 2 laps to go for Curtis Ecker.
Yeah, Curtis, coming to 2 to go. Like I said, I talked to him earlier. He, he was feeling really tight in that car. And, I gotta quit listening to these guys when they tell me that they're not comfortable in the car, because every time somebody tells me that they're not comfortable in the car, they go out and they're challenging for the win. As Curtis Ecker's coming into 3 and 4 now, looking for that white flag.
The white flag is what he's looking for, and in fact, he'll get it this time by. You can see the blue across the front windshield and across the spoiler of that race car. That signifies that he is a playoff contender, and right now, he's looking to bring home a playoff victory here at Kentucky.
All season long, he's showing a lot of speed, and, like you said earlier, he had a lot of speed here all night long, worked his way from the middle of this pack up to the front. Now coming through 3 and 4 here, Curtis Ecker is looking to pick up a win here at Kentucky Speedway in the second race of the chase for the Next Gen Series here at Races Elite. Curtis Ecker gets it done in Kentucky.
Curtis gets it done. Alex Teft with a big charge will finish second. Pendel was actually able to work himself up to third. Wayne Scott fourth. Kinsley Smith fifth. Ira Kohlhaas will bring it home sixth. Dennis Kane seventh. Troy Thomas, well, little activity afterwards, but these guys like to do that. Troy Thomas eighth. Aaron Markey ninth. Alex Gates rounds out the top 10.
Jesse Fox going to come home in 11th. Trevor P12 there. James McRae, Andrew Teft, Truth Hoke, man, tough nights for those guys coming home 13th, 14th, and 15th. Hayden Malcolm in 16th, and then Mike Fudge is going to round out the field here in 17th. But man, what a race here tonight for the second race of the playoffs. Like you said, these guys like to clown around a little bit post race, but man, flag to flag, green to checker, no cautions. Another great race for us here in this playoff.
Yeah, another great race here in the playoffs in Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. And you can see the results is right there on the screen, race fans. Curtis Ecker with Chicken Coop Racing is going to bring home the victory here tonight at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Alex Teft, Christopher Pendel, Kirby Wayne Scott, Kinsley Smith. That's going to be the top 5, and you can see the results there. And I can tell you, Russ, there's going to be a major shakeup in points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, with McRae and Teft and Hoke having those that rough night there. I mean, Christopher Pendel, I'm pretty sure, is going to leapfrog himself as the new points leader coming out of here at Kentucky. But I think Curtis is going to find himself jumping up to P2. I believe, trying to do some quick math with those gaps, but definitely making a leap, either second or third after tonight for sure.
In fact, let's bring Christopher Pendel in and let's conversate with him, and let's just talk with him about his race tonight. Christopher, it's Brandon and Russ up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, you had speed early, and then something went wrong on pit road. We'll get into that. Overall, a solid third place finish. We had some points leaders that you're battling around right now for a championship here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. We had some point leaders back there finish 13th, 14th, 15th area. We believe and we feel like, and we'll see when the points come out, but we feel like you're going to be the guy that's going to jump to the top of the point standings heading into next week. So take us through your night and tell us about your third place run here at Kentucky.
Yeah, actually, the car felt good. Short, medium runs. Long run, it was getting really, really, really tight, and I was having problems keeping on the bottom and 4, and I just was losing so much speed down there. So I'm sure you guys see me running the middle of the top in 3 and 4, and that's the only way I can make passes too, is running there. And just car felt great. I just figured if I just kept my nose clean, stay out of everything, and just did the best I could and run decent race. And it sucks to hear that those guys had bad nights. I hate that for them, but I'll take a third place finish here. Like I said, car felt great. It was really, really tight on the long run. it was a handful. I mean, I forgot to change my steering ratio back over to what I was practicing in for qualifying, and I kind of had to deal with that all night. But I'll take third place, and congrats to Curtis on the win.
So third place here tonight. Again, me and Russ feel like that this is going to allow you to gain some points. I think we're heading into Auto Club next week, and so going into next week, we watched you run that outside tonight, and you're right. I noticed it and noticed that you had speed. So when we get to a track like Auto Club, where it's going to be draft dependent, but it's also got a lot of speed on that middle outside line, can we expect more of that next week?
Probably. Auto Club, I like to run the bottom. Obviously, it saves tires a little bit more, but a lot of guys are going to be, like you said, it's going to be air dependent next week, and a lot of guys are going to run that top because that's where the speed's at. But if you can stay disciplined and run the bottom, I think it'll pay off in the long run, and the tires will hold up. And that's where I'm going to be, at least try to be anyways, is the bottom. So we'll see what happens next week, and hopefully it'll work out in my favor.
Absolutely, man. Well, a great run here tonight to bring that 94 home in third position. I'm sure you got some friends, family, maybe some sponsors you'd like to shout out, so take the time to do that.
Yeah. Thank you to Racers Elite. Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thank you to Andrew and those guys for letting me race. I enjoy racing with these guys. It's fun every week. And thanks to my team at Misfits with me and TJ Lane, who made my paint scheme for me. It looked real good. And thank you all to tune in. I'm looking forward to next week.
That sounds good, boss man. We'll see you next week when we arrive to Auto Club, and hopefully you have a good run and maybe get a chance to come up here and talk to us again.
Hopefully so. We'll talk at you guys later.
For us, that will be the 94 of Christopher Pendell in a solid third place finish.
Yeah, I mean, another solid run for him. Like I said, I believe that's going to leapfrog him to the top of the leaderboard for points. And that's one of the things here is, if you can get consistently good finishes with the way that this point format is, I mean, it's going to make you a threat for the championship. And right now, man, he's got the most wins on the season, and he can get these top fives. He's definitely going to be a threat for this points championship this year.
He is definitely going to be a threat. That means that some of these other drivers are going to have work to do. But one guy that went to work was Alex Teft. Alex, it's Brandon and Russ up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Hey, man, you were on just a little bit of a different strategy than most guys. You were going a bit longer on those fuel runs. Take us back through your race and tell us like what you were thinking about with that long run, and if you think there was anything that you could have done after that last stint. I mean, we seen you move, you pass a lot of guys on that last one, and you were running Curtis down. And then it looked like maybe those tires stalled out just a little bit there at the end. But do you think there was anything different that you could have done to be able to catch up to Curtis and get this win tonight?
Well, I slid my box on the last pit stop a little bit, so lost probably a good second there, having to back up for my pit stop. And then throughout the race, I was just really focusing on wrapping the bottom. I was staying in fifth pretty much the entire race until that last stint there, where I was trying to, run all the leaders down. And just really just focusing on saving the tires. Definitely was not running the fastest lap times by any means, but I was running very, very consistent ones. So definitely helped with saving the tire, and just being in clean air too was really good. It was really tough to get runs and get passes on guys, so mainly just being consistent. And then I took two tires there at the end, and it loosened the car right up, and I was starting to do downshifting, and especially in 3 and 4, and the thing was just flying. But last few laps, the tires just eventually started to fade, and I couldn't make up that last bit of ground I needed.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, we saw you making the passes, and that was what I said there. Once you got past, I think it was it Kirby? I think. So now that you had gotten clear of him and you had that fresh air, it was going to be interesting to see if you could catch the draft of Curtis to be able to use that to an advantage to catch up to him. But like you said, those tires just kind of equalized out and didn't really pan. I mean, passing looked like it was a little tougher. But I think next week going into Auto Club, I think guys are going to have a little bit more trouble. let's look ahead in there to next week to Auto Club for the third race of these playoffs. I know you're not you're not in contention for the championship, but what moving into a track like Auto Club, what are something that these guys need to keep in mind when it comes to this points championship and track position?
Yeah, it's definitely exactly that. Just maintaining that track position. Auto Club being a very momentum-based track, and it's tough to compete when you lose the draft and things of that nature. And just really focusing on not burning off that right front and getting tight and being able to, stay in the gas coming off the corner and getting the real good runs down the straightaways.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's going to be a tough race, I think, next week for a lot of these guys. Like I said, I think passing is at a premium on the restarts. I think once things get stretched out, the passing gets a little bit tougher. But you didn't have any problems passing guys here tonight, especially in that last stint. A great P2 finish. I know you're probably hoping for the win there, but man, you can't knock a P2 whenever you can get them. But I mean, we'll go ahead and turn it over to you, I guess, and let you give any shout outs that you got.
Yeah, second place 3 nights in a row. It's stings a little bit, but it's good to be running. At least I've been quick, so that's.
I was going to say, especially when those two have been to your brother.
Yeah, no, that's always hurts more. Yeah. But, no, definitely want to thank you guys in the Race Elite Network booth for putting on the show for us tonight, and then thank yourself, Race Elite. Thank my friends and viewers that watch all the time, and my fiance.
All right, brother. Well, hopefully we get a chance there next week to talk to you again at Auto Club, and congrats again on a P2 here tonight.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Russ, that is the second place finisher, and you heard it 3 nights in a row. Not a bad week.
No, I mean, I know the one that's probably hurting the most right now is his brother Andrew. I mean, going for the weekend sweep or the week sweep, and then having the kind of night that he had here tonight. I mean, I guess at least Alex can say he's got one on his brother this week, but definitely not a bad week in the long run.
Not a bad week and not a bad night for this gentleman that we're pulling in right now. It's going to be our race winner, Curtis Ecker. Curtis, it's Brandon and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, with about 60 some laps in, we were 60 to 65 laps in. We started a little bit late and we didn't get a chance to do our race picks. And I asked Russ his, and there was some racing going on, and I hadn't had a chance to make mine. But when I did, it was the 8 of Ecker. And I can tell you, when you got out front, man, you just set sail. You was able to put some distance between you and Wayne Scott. But we watched you throughout the night, and you had a really good long-run speed out of that race car. So take us through your night and how you was ultimately able to park this number 8 machine in victory lane.
Yeah, that was a heck of a race. I've been really working on some long run pace recently because I used to really struggle with that. I was able to build runs in 1 and 2, and I was downshifting in 3 and 4, but I was able to make passes on the outside, which seemed like a lot of people were struggling with. Thought that last pit cycle I was going to hurt myself. I forgot to change my fuel lap mileage. So I was right on the numbers. So once I got to the lead, I actually had to do a little fuel conserving to make sure I had enough fuel to race somebody if somebody got to me.
Well, overall, it was a solid night, right? So when we take a look at the points, there were some point leaders in around you with the points battle that had some tough nights. So we know that you're going to be able to make up some points, especially with the win here at Kentucky. So when we look at the next 2 weeks with Auto Club and Pocono, thoughts going into next week, because this might propel you to being what could be second or third or so in points.
Yeah, I think I just looked. I think it moves me up to second, 3 points behind Pendle. But if you would ever tell me I'd have a chance to win a championship with these guys, I would just laugh. But I can tell you, I don't think it could work anymore into my favor going to Auto Club and then my hometown track of Pocono. Both those tracks I usually run pretty decent at, so I'll definitely be excited.
I can tell
Curtis,
you. Go ahead, Russ. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, no, you're good. I was saying earlier how, consistency in this type of a points format is really kind of a key. And that's one thing we've seen out of you throughout this whole season is kind of consistency. You're You're up there battling for top fives, almost each and every week. You have a little bit of trouble here and there, but that consistency in this type of a points format with a 4-race a playoff, I mean, it could bear the dividends. And like you said, I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, you are currently sitting P2 3 points out of the championship lead with 2 races left to go. And that consistency is what's gotten you there. And I said it earlier that, apart from last season, that you have got to be one of the most improved drivers that I've seen this season. So to see you up here battling for a points championship and picking up the win here tonight is not a shock to me, brother. You earned it. You deserve it. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
We know you probably have some friends, family, maybe even some sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to, man. So shout them out and enjoy this victory.
Absolutely. You guys always do an amazing job in the booth. Everybody at Racers Elite, it's always amazing racing. Family Traditions RV Rentals, Kinsley for doing these awesome paint schemes of mine, and everybody out there in my Twitch channel and my family, of course.
Well, brother, again, congratulations on that victory. Go ahead, Russ.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was telling Brandon earlier too. I have got to stop listening to guys pre-race who tell me that they're not really that comfortable in the car, because every time that somebody tells me that, they are up front fighting for the win by the end of the race. So I'm done listening to anybody, because you told me earlier before this race started, it's feeling a little tight. I don't know how this is gonna go.
You're not wrong.
Well, congratulations again, Curtis, for your victory here in Kentucky. And we'll see you next week when we roll into the high banked, high fast speed track of Auto Club.
All right. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
We'll see you next week. Well, Russ, I can tell you what another amazing night here in Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. And I can tell you, just along with the race fans at home, we now have 4 drivers within 10 points battling for a championship when we head into next week.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the biggest hit tonight, was unfortunately Andrew. I mean, he drops down to the 4th place, about 10 points out of the lead right now. But I mean, that's one of those things with a points format like this, and only having those 4 races is, you got to have that consistency, and one bad race can really hurt you. So we'll have to see over the course of these next 2 races whether or not Andrew's going to be able to work his way back up. But I mean, right now we've got Christopher Mendel going into Auto Club as your points leader. Curtis Ecker is going to be 3 points behind him, and then Troy Thomas 9 points out of the lead in P3. Andrew in 4th, and then Alex Gates is rounding out the top 5 in points, 14 spots out. So, I mean, anything can happen over the next 2 races for sure. But man, it's going to be exciting to get to Auto Club next week and see what happens.
It is going to be exciting when we roll into Auto Club with the Next Gen Racers Elite Series. And Russ, final thoughts?
And it was just another good night. I mean, like I said earlier, Kentucky, I don't know why they ever took it off the real schedule, because this track, it puts on good races. We saw it here again tonight. And, just like next week, Auto Club, that track no longer exists, sadly, but at least on the iRacing service, it'll last forever. So next week we roll into the 2-mile oval of Auto Club out there in California, and we'll have to see if these guys can do it again.
I'm looking forward to it next week, Russ. Russ, that's going to be it for us. We're going to call it a night. We'll see everybody right back here again next week when we bring you the next round of the playoffs here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. And again, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on the Racers Elite Network YouTube channel, and go check us out on racerselite.com if you're interested in running with us. We have very many different series that you can run, starting from Tuesday night all the way into Friday night, with some fun runs and money races that Andrew and company ties in here. So make sure to go to racerselite.com and check all that information out. And until next time, Russ, we'll see you next week when we take over Auto Club.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you.